Hello my fellow Archons and welcome to another video. In today's video, there's a particular topic I wanted to touch on, that of key cheats. Key cheats have been a staple of KeyForge since the very beginning, showing up in every set up to date, with some sets containing more than others. Starting in Mass Mutation, the amount of key cheats per set began dwindling quite a bit, but now that almost the entire Aembermedes card pool has been spoiled, this upcoming set looks to have plenty of them. Let's take a look. Starting in the brand new house, House Geistoid, we have Ectocharge. We already saw this card in Winds of Exchange as an anomaly, but now it's officially here as Geistoid's key cheat. It reads play. Forge a key at plus 20 current cost, reduced by 1 Ember for each card in your discard pile. If you do, purge Ectocharge. Now this card actually received a pretty significant buff. If you take a look at the anomaly version from WoW, at first the cost was plus 20, reduced by 1 card for each card in your discard pile, to a minimum of 6, meaning you still had to spend at least 6 Ember to forge a key. This is no longer the case. Now, with just 26 or more cards in your discard pile, you can forge a key for free. With Geistoid having lots of ways to archive and mill through your deck as quickly as possible, Ectocharge should be a really simple free key to pull off. This buff has been pretty controversial in the community for just how powerful the card has now become, but at the very least it does get purged after being played. Heading over to Mars, the iconic Key Abduction is being reprinted. This time it's not accompanied by Martian Generosity like it was in AOA, but Aembermedes has plenty of ways to pull it off. With all the readying effects in Mars, such as Mars First, Iron X Rebel, Blipip, and this guy with a mess of a name, you should hopefully be able to do lots of readying and reaping before returning all of them to your hand with Key Abduction. Then you can archive again with Target Unixidal, or the classic Proliferator Mars First combo, or any number of other cards that archive from your discard pile. Or use a well-timed Revenant Spectral Ruth to return your entire discard pile to your archives, so you have a massive hand when you pull them. I believe Key Abduction will have a new life in this set, and I look forward to seeing the ways players find to pull it off. In Star Alliance, Forging an Alliance is reprinted. As in past sets, I feel that it'll be as inconsistent as ever, and things will really just have to align properly to be able to pull this one off, but things like Badge of Unity may be able to kickstart it a little. There's also a ton of really easy house cheating in Star Alliance in this set, meaning hopefully you can get a number of reaps in from out-of-house creatures before playing it. Seance Scanner, Staff Sergeant Rhea, Corporal Bridger, and Missile Officer Myers can all help point you in this direction. We Can All Win is reprinted as well to potentially lower that key cost and make things a touch easier. Forging an Alliance is definitely on the harder end of the spectrum to forge with, but is still pretty solid nonetheless. Over in Unfathomable, Dark Discovery is reprinted from Dark Tidings. It reads play, name 2 cards, discard the bottom 2 cards of your opponent's deck. If they are the named cards, purge Dark Discovery and forge a key at no cost. It always comes with 2 other cards, Dive Deep and Drawn Down, to make it possible to forge with. However, in Aembermedes, Unfathomable manipulates the bottom of the opponent's discard pile in numerous other ways. Beam of Forgetting is a new action at common reading play. Reveal a random card from your opponent's hand. Put that card on the bottom of their deck. Koriki Germinator puts the cards from a player's discard pile on the bottom of their deck when it's played or reaps, and it's common as well. With such a stellar cast of supporting cards, Dark Discovery should be a pretty easy key cheat to pull off, and even if it comes out early, hopefully you can get it back through archiving or high-speed mulling, or even Koriki Germinator's effect like I mentioned before. In Untamed, the new evolution of key charge is here, Spooky Charge. It reads play. If you are haunted, forge a key at current cost. Shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Not a difficult key cheat to forge with at all. With cards like Rotfeast, Haunting Witch, Dew Fairy, and Circle of Life existing, forging at 6 out of hand should be easy, right up there with Key Charge itself. Spooky Charge does shuffle everything back together at the end of the effect, however, removing your haunted status, meaning even if you do return it right back to your hand after playing it with something like Witch of the Eye, you'll still need to find a way to become haunted again before forging with it a second time. Either way though, Spooky Charge is a great and powerful key cheat that harkens back to the old school Untamed from the Coda and AOA days. And in Brobnar, the legendary Might Makes Right finally returns, long overdue. Average creature size in Brobnar is generally quite large. Awakened Titan, Lifting Buddy, Blunderbore, and Rickety Cybergiant are all excellent candidates to be sacrificed to MMR's effect. Even in other houses, we see creatures like Sandworm and Webster contributing huge amounts of power. Sandworm individually is already over half of what Might Makes Right requires. It'll be pretty easy to pull off in a lot of decks it appears in, and if you're short a Brobnar creature, play Sound the Horns to bring an extra one straight to your hand and make that final push to a free key. And lastly, you'll notice that Equidon doesn't seem to have a key cheat of its own in this set, unlike every other house we've covered in this video. In fact, Equidon goes kind of the opposite direction of cheating keys, seen in Art Project, but that's a card for a different video. However, one of the ultra-rare Revenant creatures in this set is a key cheat, Revived Za-Orha, originally General Za-Orha from Winds of Exchange. Maybe Za-Orha, technically an Equidon creature, is kind of meant to fill that role, even though he's a Revenant and can show up in any house. Anyway, he reads play. If your opponent has more forged keys than you, forge a key at current cost. If you do, purge Revive Za-Orha. Destroyed if you're haunted, archive Revive Za-Orha. Pretty much every house in Aembermedes has some method of bursting in one way or another, so no matter which house you get this guy in, you should hopefully be able to forge with him, even though his timing can be pretty tricky. He'll be great for helping you catch up if you're behind in keys, and be archived away for later if you're hunted. So Orha went from being a token making general to a key cheating phantom, and I think he makes a great addition to the Aembermedes key cheat card pool. So, there we have it. Winds of Exchange has a measly 3 key cheats, so seeing them return for this upcoming set in full force, 1 per house, is really cool. Many of them are quite easy to pull off too, especially with the right supporting cards. Let me know what you guys think of these key cheats in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again in the next one. See you later.